Three, two, one.
Hello, hello, hello.
Happy Monday. Holy moly, it's Monday again. Who knew?
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Judah Hoover and Josh Weidman. You can take a guess on who is who if you don't know. I am a realtor. Josh is a hard money lender. We've both been investors for, 20 years, roughly, give or take a little bit. And
a little bit more time on me, even though you're younger than me.
Great.
You all right, man?
Yeah. I just got a personal text that I need to handle as soon as we get off the air. So ladies and gentlemen, what's that?
I'll take over here. You take a vacation.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So how's this for good radio? So ladies and gentlemen, we come to you every day at noon with the latest and greatest on how to be effective real estate agents, how to be effective lenders in the real estate space, how to be wholesalers, how to buy, fix, and sell real estate, oftentimes what's called flippers, and also how to be buy and hold investors. So any way that you want to make money off of real estate, we're interested in talking about, and we have shows geared towards that and audience members who participate in that. I think that it is a shame that the real estate space is oftentimes segmented into people who profit from real estate directly and people who profit from real estate indirectly. And I have always made money in both arenas at the exact same time. And I think that if you want to make money in both arenas at the same time, or one or the other, that you absolutely can and should. By the way, Taz, thanks for giving us the shout out and joining us. I do love, by the way, some of the marketing that I'm seeing for Journey's Appliances, and your new logo looks awesome, dude. Rock and roll and keep it up. So, awesome. Josh,
how was your weekend?
What'd you do? My weekend was great. Did a lot of cooking. Did a lot of cooking with the kids. Hung out and watched the Penn State game with some friends. That was fun. I'm a casual Penn State fan, as some of you guys know, and also carved some pumpkins and participated in many other fall type activities.
Yeah, I got the pumpkins yesterday. Yep. Like picked them up. Finally cut them open and started the design. Are you like the Da Vinci sculptor?
No, good golly, no. No, I wanted to make beef soup in the pumpkin, and then ended up not doing that. My friends were not interested in having a beef stew out of pumpkin.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so listen, here's what we're talking about today, and I love this because it's amazing how, I forgot to share the screen here. It's amazing to me how often, maybe it's like when you buy a yellow car for the first time, like you always see everybody driving yellow cars, you know what I mean? And whereas before you thought, nobody drives a yellow car. I think it's the same idea with real estate. I tend to see the same topics come up in 3 or 4 different places all at one time. And so I wanted to bring this up because, 2 weeks ago, I went to do a final inspection for a loan, right? And these guys did a blowout property. It's in Hershey.
Blowout good, not blowout bad.
Really well. So they bought this place. The numbers are fantastic on it, but they bought it because the pipes froze. And so they bought this house that had previously been listed, I think, at like $450. Okay. They bought it at an insane number that I'm not even going to say out loud. But I'm thinking, based on the recent local comps in the area, 450 is probably realistic. My fallback number is 400, but I'm thinking that's their resale. All right. So they're thinking, now the market's going crazy. They've gone through COVID. They get this place done. They reframe the entire thing. It's like a brand new house. What do you think that their projected listing number was?
$8 billion.
You are right on. But you're close, right? So they're thinking, hey, 600, 650 is where we'll list. Okay. Right. And then they start talking about, my goodness, that's $36,000 in commissions. If we just found the buyer ourselves, we don't need a listing agent and we don't need the other side of the transaction. And so they start putting feelers out. And it's not feelers like, hey, post this on Zillow is coming soon or anything like that. This is just like making a couple phone calls to some people and they start floating that number out there, and they're thinking, man, I'm going to make some good money on this, save some money on the agent fee. But before they showed the property, they decided to bring their agent through.
Right.
Just for a fallback, right? What do you think the agent said?
$750.
Do you want to list it 7 or 8?
Wow.
The opening line of the conversation. So how much money would they have lost?
Right.
If they would have listed it themselves? Because they would have sold it and they probably would have gotten in a bidding war that went up $25,000, but because of the lack of inventory, because of the uniqueness of the property, there wasn't really comps. But this agent sells everything in this neighborhood, knew exactly who she had in her lineup, knew what she was going to do. Well, I turn around and I'm reading an article this weekend specifically about this same issue. And I remember this the last time we were in this point in the cycle where everybody said, I'm just going to list it myself, list it for a month myself just to see how it goes. I have been that guy more than once.
I've been that guy.
And it's always penny wise and pound foolish.
Listen. How long ago was 2006, 2007, something? So it was like 2006, 2007 or 8, 2007 or 8. I have an awesome hard money source, awesome private money source.
Yeah.
That I screwed up because that's what I did with. That guy and I could have made millions of dollars, but I made a bad choice when I was listing that property, and I said I'm going to list this property without an agent and see what happens. And I ended up shooting myself in the foot. And not only did I not make any money on the deal because of it, but I ended up souring a relationship that I wasn't able to use that private money anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? You would have made less money if you'd have listed with an agent, but you'd have made money.
Right.
That's right. So let's talk about 5 issues or 5 reasons why you should hire an agent.
5 or 8.
We're going to start with 5 and then we'll go to 8. We'll see how it goes. There's 8 here. All right. So first one, obviously access to the MLS. I mean, this can't be overstated, right?
Yeah, it can't be overstated because only the MLS is the MLS. Yeah. And only the MLS has access to everything. Zillow has access to a lot. And iComps has access to a lot. And there's a lot of other sources that are out there. How I'm actually beta testing something like this right now. With the Slate House Buyers Network, because we've got so many people always looking to buy and sell real estate. However, only the MLS is the MLS. Yeah. And only the MLS has everything. Can I offer a real quick disclaimer, Josh?
Yes.
Listen, I want all of our listeners to use me. I hope all of our listeners feel comfortable calling me to be their agent. But there's a whole lot of things that I am more nervous about and more gun shy about than what I should be. And contrary to how you might think my personality is geared, shameless self-promotion is something that I really struggle with. And this is a topic that we feel people need to know and understand. This is not a 45-minute, half an hour conversation on call Judah to list your house. Call me to list your house. Don't get me wrong. Like, you should, and I'll make money and I'm awesome. However, I want you to know that we're talking about the reasons to use an agent, not reasons to use Judah. And I understand that the other thing that applies here is, methinks thou dost protest too much. And I'm the more I'm talking, the worse I'm making this and everything like that. But I'm that uncomfortable with it.
Judah does not select show content.
Right.
Judah does. So like he we talked about this in passing very briefly about 10 minutes before we jumped online. Anyway, that aside, I had a brokerage. I had my own brokerage at a time. And guess what? I didn't list like our brokerage didn't even list our properties because we're a property management company. Not, I mean, like we were geared just for property management. We didn't do any, even
Right.
leasing and stuff like that. So, I could have saved myself that money, but it wouldn't have made sense. So first is access to the MLS, but that's not the only thing,
Right.
right? The experience of an agent cannot be overstated. I mean, you've done this dozens of times, hundreds of times. You've gone through hundreds of transactions. I have as well. If you're hiring an agent where you are, where they are doing a dozen transactions a month or 5 transactions a month, and they've done hundreds and hundreds and gone through this a number of times, even if this is like your 20th project, there's going to be nuances there's always things changing with the mortgage market. There's always things that are changing in the micro markets. And even in the transaction, hey, this title company was really great for the last 6 months. And now all of a sudden, they've gone from a 2-week turnaround time to 2 months to get a title back. These are things that you need to know and will cost you time and certainly money if you don't.
Well, and let's just say that there's an issue that comes up in negotiation. And you might know a good way to negotiate that. Your agent, number one, because of their experience, might know a better way to negotiate it. Number two, they've got access to everybody else in their office and their broker and all the deals that they've done. And hey, you know what? I actually know somebody at the city who can get an answer on that. Or hey, you know what? Last time I had a problem with the septic system, this is what we did. So when you use an agent, you're not just using that agent, you're also plugging into the broker and to everybody else that works out of their office. And you might have a pretty big connection list, but using the agent network is one of the best ways to get a force multiplier on your experience.
It's like you're checking off the list even before we get there, Judah. Better home preparation, right? I mean, this comes in 2 parts. You got getting ready for the sale. Like there are some minor improvements. And in fact, I have seen in houses, FSBO versus agent prepped, where, you'll remember the photo from 8 months ago that you saw in this house because the room was so awful. And then you realize they spent $75 to paint the room on a Saturday. And now it's like, oh my gosh, it's a totally different house. Or, hey, I know you're using this as, a 4-bedroom house, but it's really 3 bedrooms and a den because that's what most of my buyers want to see. Or it's a 4-bedroom and not a 3-bedroom with a den. You know what I mean? Like just little ways of knowing your local markets and how to list and how to present this property in the best possible light. It can go a long way. I mean, I have there are plenty of times when I'm pulling comps on a property on a potential loan, right? And we'll gear in on that property. And I see, in fact, I saw one this morning in Lancaster. Okay, house is listed at 115. There's sales on the block for 269. There's sales on the block for 150, 160, and I'm trying to figure out what the difference is. It's like the nuances in the way the house is presented, the way the description's written, little things that it made all of the difference in the attractiveness and the ability for the place to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. So your agent is going to have access to professional photographers that they can get color corrected for like, 100, 150 bucks.
Yeah.
Whereas you might have to call somebody who, oh, yeah, that's right. My brother-in-law said that he's willing to do this now, and maybe I can get him in a week from next Wednesday to get these pictures taken. Your agent is going to have somebody who just does that all day, every day. Yep. And is going to have best in class. They're going to, they're going to have commoditized it. So the prices is going to be really nice and low. They're going to do a whole lot better.
Yeah. All right. Then we come out to the next part. Your marketing plan. I mean, this is so important. Right now, we're maybe in an anomalous time frame, right? There might be a 2-month window here where anybody can sell anything. Maybe
Right.
not,
Right.
The question now, though, and you've seen some light softening in the market, I think, as far as days on market has gone up a few days over the last month, right?
Correct. Days on market have gone up, but part of the reason for that is just it's taking longer to get a lot of stuff done,
Year.
and time of year and stuff like that. But inventory is still super crazy low. We could spend 3 shows on marketing real estate and have in the past. The key takeaway here is you just want to ask your agent, what is your marketing plan? And you're looking, do they have 3 or 4 bullet points besides listing the property on the MLS?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Professional agent networking. This is a big one, and Judah touched on this. A lot of times I will say the word agent or broker, and I use them kind of as the same thing. And what I mean by that is there are some agents that will outwork everybody. And then there are some agents that are amazing at building a team. And they both might be just as successful, but it's a different kind of success. It's, one is kind of like repeatable over and over and over again, as opposed to one is like, you got to get the right guy. So, there's pluses to both, but one of the major parts of plugging in with a large organization, I think is a big deal. It's like the networking, the contacts that you have beyond just, okay. So this place that I walked through where the numbers kept escalating, right? A great example here is like, I went to look at potentially buying this house. In addition to lending, I might have ended up being the buyer on it because I knew about it. It's like the inside guys that are involved with the project or know somebody, and they're also cultivating buyers, so that you can make these connections that aren't necessarily there. And you could literally have the house sold, brokered out, deal negotiated and hammered even before the project's done, or even before, even before you got it online, for sure.
I'm there right now. I have 4 properties right now that 4 listings of mine that I sold even before I was able to get them on the MLS. I'm not bragging on myself here too much, but I actually had offer letters of intent and an offer contract before I had all the listing documents fully signed. Like, that's how early I was able to find and identify buyers and line them up for these 4 different listings, and scrambled to get all the paperwork right, because I was actually afraid that if people figured out what was going on, I might actually end up getting cut out of the deal. I didn't think that anybody would end up doing that. But yeah, and now I'm sitting here with the difficult question: do I list these properties on the MLS and list them and then mark them as pending almost right away? Is it worth it for me to go through that hassle and trouble? I think that I'm going to. But if you have a good agent, they will sell stuff even before it doesn't happen all the time. Maybe it only happens 10% of the time, but also an agent is going to we help sell each other's properties, and we know about other deals that we have working on. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. All right, negotiation. This is a big one, and people kind of fall into 2 different categories. And the funny thing is, the biggest category of people are the people that fall into the second category, but the least amount of people would associate themselves as an average or at best negotiator.
Right. I'm so glad that you broke this out, because I will humbly say that I'm in category number 1 here. I am a great negotiator.
Yeah.
However, I'm looking to buy a house in, spring, early summer of next year. And I'm already working with the woman who's going to be my agent. She's been a friend of mine for a long time. She's a good agent. And about 5 years ago, we got our licenses at the same time. And she has helped friends and family of mine out. She and I have also done other personal real estate deals together. And she said, Judah, why are you using me still for this transaction? And I said, well, first of all, I still owe you. And second of all, because I don't want to negotiate my own deal for myself.
Yeah.
I'll buy my own real estate. But this, like, for my own personal residence, I mean, I would probably be my own agent on investment properties, be they buying or selling or other things like that. But on my own personal residence, I'm not using myself as the agent.
Well, even with the okay, so I get kind of thrown off when, we're I'm very used to negotiating real estate deals directly with the seller. But anytime there's an intermediary there, things get a little bit lost. I mean, at least for
Right.
me, like if I'm not talking directly to the person making the decision, it's like, I have a hard enough time communicating to you what I want you to know, let alone the person who's not in the room. And so I think that there's a totally different type of negotiation that goes on with agents, and it certainly can be frustrating from the outside. But I think it's an important part of the process if you're trying to go for top dollar and a more conventional route, right? And that is the negotiations that go on between the intermediaries and and sometimes you can get the other side to admit things that they might not want to,
Correct.
or and that doesn't necessarily often happen when you're talking directly to the person making the decision, and they can slip, but it's a little bit different when it's not your house, or maybe a couple. Yeah. Anyway, you ought to have a third party. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is my favorite, the paperwork. I hate paperwork so much. Right? So like that's pretty straightforward. The paperwork that goes into everything and keeping everything straight and tracked is a ton.
Yeah,
And
it's also the dates and when do we have to have inspection responses by? What's an appropriate time length for this, and just having somebody help you organize the whole mess of what happens and what goes on. Absolutely.
yeah. All right. Last thing is future business. This is it's amazing how many doors open once you get that first transaction done.
Yeah. So what's crazy is my personal cell phone has two numbers that ring into it, right? One for business, one for personal. If I've ever done business with you, you have my personal cell phone number, or you're a member of my real estate investors club. You have my personal cell phone number. So when my personal cell phone number rings, I jump, and when I've done people that have done a loan with me, I'm very interested because I had my own mortgage company for 15 years. So just before the air, my personal cell phone started ringing, and I could tell by how it was ringing that it was somebody, so that it was of a personal level. So it just gets higher attention. A lot of investors out there are wondering what they can do to get better deals and be the first call from realtors, but then they also look to cut realtors out whenever they can. If you look at ways of cutting realtors into your deals, again, I think it should be me, but if you want to use somebody else, that's great too. If you look to include realtors in the transaction, you will get a whole lot more business from them.
That's right. That's right.
I almost listed myself last flip for 165
Yeah.
because I thought the market was hot, over budget and reno and everything like that. My agent listed it for 199 and went under agreement in 24 hours. That's a perfect example, Matt. And right now in a market like this, we could list those examples all the time. The opposite is true in the in the other market. Let's say we were in the reverse market, right? And let's say that the property should have been listed for 165, but Matt wanted to list it for 199. It's going to sit out there for 2 or 3 or 5 weeks and get no attention, and then he's going to have to drop the price.
Yeah.
And then he's just signaled to everybody that he's dropped the price. And then there's additional weakness. And instead of whereas if he wouldn't have gone it on his own And he was not, now he's not getting offers at 165. Now he's getting offers at 145 or 155.
That's exactly.
So you're actually ended up losing a whole lot of money when you try and go in that direction.
Well, and that's why you consult, right?
Right.
Like that's why when you got to have an agent that's strong enough to be able to tell you, look, the number is not 199, it's 165, and here's why. And like, or
You and the agent
right.
both only make money when the property sells, and you both make more money by selling it for as much as possible.
Right.
So both you and the agent your goals are both aligned. You both want to sell it for as much money as absolutely possible.
Yep.
So, you're only doing a disservice to yourself when you don't listen to the agent when they say, no, it's not going to sell at that price, or we're not going to get to this table as quick as what we would if we listed it at this price or that price.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. There a lot goes into a listing that has to do with feel. I mean, we talked about the iBuyer programs and everything else on Friday, right? I mean, even though technology is becoming
Oh,
more
I
and
see
more,
what Steve is saying. Steve is saying pre-COVID agreement picture. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine shaking hands in today's day and age? That's what he's busting our
we're
chops about.
pushing to get back to normal. Maybe I'm a
I
little.
appreciate that our daily listeners are not just our daily listeners, but they are also our daily viewers and daily smack talkers. So that is excellent.
Yeah,
We
Steve
appreciate
smacks me around at least once a week.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. All right. Last but not
Gosh,
least, yo.
I was gonna say, what are we doing on Monday?
That's what I'm saying. We're 1 week out right now. You can sign up for our 5-day Facebook challenge, flipping houses without cash, credit, or criminal behavior. It is absolutely free. We're going to be doing a challenge to get you flipping properties and taking advantage of this awesome market that we have going on right now. Before, and as things change in the marketplace.
Yeah, so it's going to be focused on how to become a wholesaler, how to flip properties, how to without any cash, without any credit, without any criminal behavior, without taking advantage of anybody. Somebody said over here in the comments earlier that people think that negotiation is taking advantage of people. It's really just finding two people that have a similar outcome would benefit both of them, how to negotiate there and get that done without splitting the difference, I might add, to Josh's favorite book. So, by the way, my sister John is reading that, and she absolutely loves it. So one of the things that we're going to be covering is how to negotiate, how to find deals, and how to get your first property under agreement, how to do your first flip within this first week of the 5-day challenge. We're also going to be giving stuff away every day. So there's going to be extra prizes, cash prizes. We're going to be giving away books. We're going to be giving away Amazon gift cards. We're going to be giving away special bonuses like paperwork and worksheets and other things like that, that if you come to this class, you will be getting value every day for participating every day. And you can sign up for free at the Build and Grow with Real Estate, buildandgrowwithrealestate.com, buildandgrowwithrealestate.com. If you plug in your information there, we will email you. The link to go to our private Facebook page. And you want to get in that Facebook page and start saying hi to everybody who's in that Facebook page. And we are very excited, Josh and I are, to start doing more and more of these Facebook challenges, because they are going to allow us to have a whole lot more flexibility where we need it, but a whole lot more focus where we need it, where it's going to allow us to have a whole lot more interaction. And it's also going to allow us to deliver more content, not just the words we're saying, but actual pieces of content. A sample lease, a sample workflow. Like right now, if we go through a slide deck and you're like, hey, I really like that slide deck, well, we've got to email us, and then we'll post it, and then we'll email it to you or whatever else like that. Using a challenge format like this allows us to deliver tangible content pieces to you a whole lot easier. So that's the direction that we're taking a lot of this stuff in.
Awesome.
We'll be back here tomorrow at noon, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Until then, go make some money. Thanks.
See you, everybody.